Most people fighting flies this summer have a bag of water taped to their door right now, certain it's working, when the one real study ever done on it found the opposite. Nobody tells them flies aren't driven off by light or reflections at all. They're pulled in by smell, which means the popular free trick was never fighting the right battle. So what happens when someone who wasted a whole season trusting that bag finally shows you what actually clears a kitchen out overnight? My name is Ju Wong. I want to tell you about the summer I taped 4 water bags to my back door, pennies and all, because a neighbor swore by it, and half the houses on my street had one hanging too. The flies didn't care. If anything, that whole summer felt worse, more of them landing right on the glass behind the bag, like it wasn't bothering them at all. It wasn't until I actually looked into why that trick was supposed to work that I found out nobody had ever proven it did, and one actual study on it found the bags drew in more flies, not fewer. That's not a me being careless problem. That's a folklore problem. The water bag trick spread because people notice fewer flies around and assume the bag gets credit, when really the flies were never being repelled by light in the first place. Houseflies barely orient by reflections at all. They orient by smell, hunting out anything that smells like food, garbage, or something sweet and rotting. A bag of plain water doesn't smell like anything to a fly. It never had a chance. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. Here's the truth that flips this whole fight around. You are never supposed to be scaring flies away. You're supposed to be giving them somewhere better to go than your kitchen counter, somewhere so much more attractive that they leave everything else alone and head straight for it. That's the entire idea behind the enclosed liquid traps you'll find sold cheap all over Japan, and plenty of other places too. A sweet, food-smelling liquid sitting in a container flies can get into but can't easily get back out of. You can build the same basic thing at home for about $2. So here's exactly how to do it. The first step is simply taking the water bags down, because leaving them up does nothing except give you false confidence while flies keep gathering somewhere else in the house. The trick is accepting that the fix has to work through smell, not light, before anything else on this list will make sense to you. The second step is mixing the actual liquid, and it's genuinely cheap. In a small jar or open container, combine a splash of apple cider vinegar, a few drops of dish soap, and a spoonful of sugar dissolved in warm water. The vinegar and sugar together smell like exactly the kind of overripe, fermenting food a fly is hunting for, and the dish soap is doing quiet, important work you'll understand in the next step. All told, this runs well under $2 using stuff most kitchens already have. The third step is the part almost nobody gets right, and it's about the container shape, not the liquid. A flat, open bowl doesn't work nearly as well because a fly can land, drink, and fly right back out. Take a jar, punch a few small holes in a paper cone or plastic wrap stretched over the top, and set the cone so it funnels down into the liquid. Flies follow the scent in through the narrow opening, and once they're in, that dish soap breaks the surface tension of the liquid, so instead of floating and walking back out, they sink. The trick is punching the holes on the smaller side, too wide, and flies just fly straight back out the way they came in. The fourth step is placement, and this is where most people guess wrong. Don't put the trap where you're sitting or eating, put it a good distance away, near a window ledge, by the trash bin, or outside near a door, somewhere flies are already congregating on their own. The trick is watching for a day where the flies are actually gathering before you commit to a spot, rather than assuming the kitchen table is the right place just because that's where you keep noticing them. The fifth step is refreshing it on a schedule, because a trap that sits too long stops smelling appealing and just becomes another dead fly jar nobody wants near them. Every 3 to 4 days, dump it, rinse the jar, and remix a fresh batch. The trick is doing this before it looks obviously spent, not after, because the scent fades well before the jar looks empty or unappealing to your own eye. The sixth step is the one that actually finishes the job long term, and it has nothing to do with the trap itself. Flies keep coming back because something indoors is still feeding them. An uncovered trash bin, dishes left soaking, fruit sitting out past its prime, a pet bowl never rinsed. The trick is doing a 5-minute walk through your kitchen each evening, lids on, dishes rinsed, counters wiped, because a trap alone in a house that's still feeding flies is fighting a battle it can never fully win on its own. Those are the 6 steps. Take the water bags down, because they were never doing anything. Mix a cheap vinegar, soap, and sugar liquid that actually smells like food to a fly. Build it in a jar with a narrow funnel opening instead of an open bowl. Place it where flies are actually gathering, not just where you happen to notice them. Refresh it every 3 to 4 days before the scent fades. And cut off what's feeding them indoors every evening so the trap isn't fighting a losing battle. Here's the bigger picture, and it's what I want you to remember. This was never about scaring flies out of your house. It's about understanding what actually pulls them in, and giving them somewhere better to be than your kitchen counter. The folks who stay ahead of a fly season aren't the ones with the most tricks taped to their doors. They're the ones who understood which scents they were actually working with the whole time. So here's what I want you to do tonight, not next week, tonight. Mix 1 jar with what you already have in your kitchen, punch a few small holes in the top, and set it out before bed near wherever you've noticed flies gathering most. By morning, you'll have your answer. Tell me in the comments if you've been one of the water bag believers. And if you try the jar trap tonight, come back tomorrow and tell me how many flies you found in it. I read every single one. Next time, I'm going to show you the one everyday kitchen habit that quietly invites flies in without anyone ever noticing it's happening.